beat Chaos, beat
Ah,
Stranger in
Strangers of
Paradise.
Paradise. Yeah. DLC?
No.
Main game.
So you're playing Stranger of Paradise and you're getting into the gameplay and you're getting into the leveling system and the story's actually going kind of interesting places. And the levels in the back half of the game start to get a lot more complex.
What
Right.
if
And
I
so you're like,
banned the word chaos from chat right now?
then you would silence them. You should not. Um, right. So you get to the
Just watch it
water temple.
implode. Hmm.
Get to the water temple, right? And the water temple is based off the macro reactor. And like, oh, it looks exactly like the macro reactor from FF7. Oh, that's cute. And you're going through these longer levels. And then you get to like the 85, 95% mark. Let's say 90% mark. And then you're like, wow, this is the exact moment they ran out of money. This is the exact second that development started to go really fast.
Uh-oh.
Because all of a sudden, these big story moments are they're not cutscenes. They're like the in-game models standing unmoving in a room
Oh
talking.
no, budget off, Yakuza.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then you get to the you get to like the final regular level and it's the looking level in the entire game. It's so ugly. It's this is a really specific thing. For the PS3 when you were playing a game that had discrete levels and then you got to like an area and the area was all made out of stone and all the stone used the exact same
Same texture
texture
stone.
and then
Oh
and like
no.
the whole area is
Oh god damn it.
the exact
Yeah.
same color. Like it's all the same color.
Oh
And you're
no.
like, fuck.
It's not like an elaborate reference to like the Garland Cave from FF1 or anything.
No, it's supposed to be the floating continent from 6, right? Is the final real level in that game. Pardon me, I'm just eating a piece of cake.
What kind of cake?
Olive oil citrus.
Whoa. That's a thing.
Yeah, dude. Olive oil cake. Look, looks like this.
Olive
Like
oil
a
citrus.
yeah, it's good.
I've never heard of that. Okay.
Olive oil. It's an olive oil cake that also has oranges in it. That's it. Delicious.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyway.
so you get to the end of the game and it starts to completely fall apart. But the story actually hits. And that's the weirdest part. Like, the story is played for dumb for maybe 80% of the game. And then right at the end, they start going, okay, so now we're gonna like be a real story and we're gonna start hitting some emotional beats. And they actually work really well. And then the game ends
One note chaos
really well.
man is not one note chaos man.
Yeah, no, Jack fucking rules.
Okay.
Jack is awesome. And it has a really strong ending.
So I hear.
And it ties in really well to, FF1 somehow. And you're like, yeah, that was great. And then the DLC happens. So the game I'm playing right now, Stranger Paradise, is not the same as its original release. They did things like they added the ability to change the way glamour, change the way you look. They cleaned up a lot of systems, that kind of thing, right? So it's a streamlined, improved version. It's also the version that has all the DLC, which
so you did play the DLC?
No. So let me explain to you what happens. You beat the game, and you go, okay, great, you beat the game, and it goes, now that you have beaten the game, you've unlocked chaos difficulty. And chaos difficulty is not, it goes action, hard, and then now chaos. Well, what's the deal with chaos difficulty? Okay, chaos difficulty is now rolling forward, new game plus kind of thing. But now every mission in the entire game can be a challenge from level 1 to 400. And the higher you challenge every mission, it will drop gear of appropriate difficulty levels. But you have to pay in with your levels to unlock the ability to challenge these levels at these higher difficulties. But wait, don't do that. Don't do that. Because Bahamut's DLC says screw chaos difficulty, actually try Bahamut difficulty, which unlocks the instant you talk to Bahamut once. And I go, well, what the fuck is Bahamut difficulty? Well, Bahamut difficulty is exactly the same as chaos difficulty, except Bahamut difficulty allows you to get double affinity gear, but it also wants you to use Hades's heat mode to turn on fucking challenge modes on the thing. But you have to do that so you can get rat tails to give to Bahamut. Well, why do I gotta give Bahamut rat tails? Well, every time I give Bahamut rat tails, he'll unlock conversations so that I can go fight the Bahamut DLC. And then after defeating the Bahamut DLC, then Gilgamesh shows up and unlocks the Gilgamesh difficulty, which has its own thing based, and it's like, I beat the game.
Okay.
And was just assaulted with end game content that I don't understand, and I struggle to ascertain the path. Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
and because it's not just go into this portal, now there's new levels. There's new difficulty for everything you just did
for all levels, and then you have to use special conditions and whatnot
to get new stuff for the and
I find out that so when I beat the game, I unlocked a Warrior of Light armor set, which is level 200, like way far and beyond what I was wearing at the time. I find out that armor set was added the day of the game's Steam release. So prior to that, in order to start the Bahamut difficulty, I would have had to grind out the chaos level difficulty until I was good enough to start the Bahamut difficulty so that I could grind the Bahamut level difficulty to get good enough to fight Bahamut, which would then unlock the Gilgamesh level difficulty so that I could beat Gilgamesh's random dungeon so I could start the...
Aren't you glad that the Neo armor numbers are gone?
Yeah. And
this is what you get in exchange.
Yeah, so here's the basic difference. Neo also does this same thing basically, where when you get to the end of Neo, it goes, "Hey, hit this shit with higher level."
They're for nuts, and they're for people that want that level of, they want to bathe in it. So even if you avoid it and you're like, this is the best of those games because it takes that thing out, cool. Get ready to still get showered in all that shit because that's what the fans want from it.
So I've been talking to people, and Neo, it basically does the same fucking thing, more or less, right? The difference is that Stranger of Paradise just hits you with every mechanic just simultaneously, and the way that it obfuscates what you actually need to do, like in Neo, you're rolling through old things, and they're just getting harder and harder and harder and harder. So it's asking you to take the gear system more seriously. Stranger of Paradise's DLC, it goes, we're gonna do that, but we're also just gonna it's gonna be a different mode now that you have to select, and it's wildly confusing. It completely like I appreciated that I could auto optimize my gear all the way through the main game. I'm looking at it and like, maybe making the most complicated version of this system slam into you all at once was also not the best solution, because it is like you ever, maybe this happens to you, you're streaming and you're hit with a level of mechanical complexity that you're just like kind of wild-eyed, and you're just like, but this just
Mm-hmm.
rat tat what,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and like just just annihilated any desire to continue playing the game at all.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because so the thing is, because these are progressive DLCs that came out over time,
Mhm.
and my assumption, or not my assumption, the way it was described to me, because again, like I've heard about them and such, is that like you played it, quality of life updates, Team Ninja style came out throughout the entire thing's lifestyle, and then lifespan, and then you would drop that, and then the game when the DLC drops, it's a reason to go back through, play a
Right.
whole other difficulty challenge, yada yada, and get all the extra new shit. And then the next one puts the all of that again, plus it actually the real true ending or so,
Yeah.
because there's
So
also like stuff like plot implied
the
at
way
the
the
end of
way
it.
it ended up working out in terms of time is that you would beat the original game and you would unlock chaos. And what chaos is like, hey, you can fight remixed bosses at the end of the existing levels and just gear yourself up and become stronger and stronger and stronger. And when you put things on chaos difficulty, enemies had like different AI, so they'd be way more aggressive, and bosses would have new moves, that kind of thing, and you would gear yourself up. Then the DLC comes out and goes, oh cool, you've been gearing yourself up for 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now
Mm-hmm.
do these levels with challenges added.
Mm-hmm.
But to the player who's playing through it in one big game, they go, "You've been grinding for 6 months, right?" I go, "No, that was 10 minutes ago. I beat it 10 minutes ago. What are you talking about?" Well, here's your baby's armor for you to keep going. I don't free. Is it because it has high affinity? Is that good?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The collection of all of this in one shot is what makes it weird.
Like
Yeah.
it is like it is unironically like, so the game is a level based like character action game with like a leveling structure, and then you beat the game and it turns into Diablo. It just becomes Diablo, and like a fairly in-depth version. Uh-oh. Hello?
Yeah,
Did you hear all of that?
I did. There was a
Oh,
point where the Discord kind of fucked up, but
oh, okay. You
we're here.
froze a little bit.
Okay, no, we're
Um,
good.
yeah, it just turns into a completely different game with a different focus.
Okay,
And it's a focus that I'm not super interested in. So like when I was playing through Stranger of
that
Paradise's
you're
main
not
campaign,
interested in. Okay.
when I was playing through Stranger of Paradise's main campaign, the leveling structure was there and made me interested because I would get new moves. And I was playing a action game in which I would unlock new moves,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every single thing after beating the game is like, fuck new moves. You want new gear and new builds, right? I'm like, no, I actually really don't. I don't give a shit about that at all. I could not care less. It's when it goes from being kind of close to Devil May Cry
So yeah.
to being
Mm-hmm.
close to Diablo.
Well, my question is this not like you've maxed out all your moves on DMC and now you've gotten a DLC that introduces Son of Sparta mode, and then you get another one that introduces heaven or hell, and then these are all meant to be done with the full move list.
Right. It's like that, but it's not about the move list. It's about your character's numerical power and your build.
Okay, right.
And it's like, I don't really have any interest in making a build in Stranger of Paradise. I
Now,
I would I would like for the number I would like I would it brings me to my final stance on the Neo
mhm.
slash um Stranger of Paradise slash Wolong thing. I'm like, wow, I can now confirm I would really love these games way more if they had absolutely no inventory whatsoever.
Interesting. Okay. I don't mind that stuff at all personally. But what I mentioned this I think 2 weeks ago or so when we were first talking about it. But the whenever if you do get to the final DLC, I've been told that you have to make builds and
You
they
must.
have to be broken.
Yes, because the
And
game
this
is
is
going to start throwing broken stuff at you.
Exactly. So like you can't avoid getting into that side of things if you want to
Yeah.
go forward, you know.
And so by the end of it, I'm like, wow, what a great action game from Team Ninja. I really, oh, what would a Team Ninja action game look like if they just had no inventory? I would really like one of those. Oh, they used to make those. It was called
Mm.
Ninja Gaiden. I kind of just want to have them make Ninja Gaidens again. Is what I've reached all the way at the end.
So I'm as someone who's also become aware of how like me just wanting things to be the way I want them is where people go fucking Wooly and your stupid basic view
No.
on things. I kind of look at this and I go, well, I know that as much as I want pure action in things,
Yeah.
this being a partial Final Fantasy game, it makes sense to me that there needs to be Final Fantasy elements,
Oh,
including
totally.
armor,
And so
weapons, equipment,
that's where
inventory.
it gets weird because the job system is in there, and the job system does give you constant new abilities and new moves and new features. Like if you have Sage and you unlock a certain job button or whatever it's called, you get to cast Ultima, right? Or your cast speed with white magic will go, yeah, stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's when the gearing process starts to come in. It's where I'm worried about purples and blues and orange and affinity and whether or not I want to upgrade the specific +6% break damage on my sword or not. And it's just like not interested. Just not interested. Just it has no appeal to me, which is weird because like if I was playing like actually Diablo, that would appeal to me.
Hmm.
But the difference is that like Diablo's gameplay is fairly simple. Like there's the numerical element to that is like a much larger part of it.
Yeah. If there was nothing, well, anyway, it's weird because as I've described many times, basic breadcrumbs don't work for me, and
Mhm.
like if all you have to offer me is like a purple named weapon,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stick around very long, right? I need to
Hmm.
see the effect of that to being different. I need to see a different move. I need to see that move list grow and to do different things, or even if it's Destiny, I need to see a different type of fucking special entirely.
Yeah.
Once that's complete, the game has to, and like I'm okay with there being a like this is the full move list, you know? What
Mhm.
is next, I suppose, is just like how do you remix the challenges? How do you like you know what I mean? There's another like a complete you can't have a move list that is like there's always a new move you've never gotten, right? Like that doesn't
Mhm.
really work. There's got to be a point at which you're like, well, now this is the complete character. Um Here's what like Doom or any of these action games we play.
Mhm.
How do you increase or how do you step up to a new challenge with this set amount of actions?
Yeah. Now, like obviously, like the part of that complexity going in is like now you have the whole move list. So where's this gonna go? So I mentioned builds. So like I saw builds that were like, you regenerate MP as you attack and just constantly use the most overpowered shit. Or max out your break damage so you're stunning enemies in single strikes, or you're healing yourself while you're doing damage and you never stop doing damage so you become functionally invincible unless you get one shot. Just all sorts of zany
Yeah.
shit, right? But you have to like get the gear for that and then curate it and then put it together and then combine it with your shit. And like, I don't fucking care. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, I think back to items that I got in loot games that like made me excited. It was like stuff in Borderlands and like Diablo 2. And it was not stuff where I'm like, hey, this will really help my build that I'm going for. No, it was items that I would pick up and go, wow, this thing is massively fucked up and broken. I'll just build around it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense as a concept?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, I picked up a gun with fucking in Borderlands that's like does 1,600% extra damage to people on fire, or what have you. Like,
Sure.
okay, I can I can do that. I can mentally figure that out. Like basically item up instead of build up. Does that make sense?
I get it, but like that's kind of on the basis too of like, okay, well, random has RNG has granted you an insane spike in one direction, so now
Yeah.
you can kind of dress that up,
Yeah.
you know.
Whereas when I was looking over even the quick itemization I got in Stranger Paradise, it's like, well, you're gonna be trying to get affinity, which is gonna boost your stats along a certain thing, and then you'll be able to say, oh, I'll max out Sage affinity. What is Sage affinity good for? Okay, then I'll build my shit around that. It's like I
The
don't no, I don't
process
care.
of
I don't.
passively building up this build or these ideas is less fun to you if it's
Oh,
like gradual.
somebody in the chat just perfectly summed it up. I care about uniques, not rares. So so if you are not particularly super familiar with like your old loot games, a unique is a bespoke item, usually with unique art, that was given a special name. It was not randomly generated, and
Mm-hmm.
it is given like fucked up properties, but it was
Mm-hmm.
chosen to get fucked up properties, right? So I think back, and I think the one that drops into my mind is Wind Force, which was a Diablo 2 bow that for some reason I can remember. A godly rare is something that would be like it dropped and it just happened to roll with just the percentile increases of a lifetime
Mm-hmm.
that make certain parts of it strong. And it's like, no, I want the completely fucked up made item. Like the
Mm-hmm.
random percentile increases don't really do it for me. And also, on top of that, I'm going to reiterate, I don't give a fuck about any percentile increase that's not like 25 to 30%. I can't
Yeah, no,
like
that I absolutely do get. Yeah, mild little adjustments here and there are just not as fun.
it's
It's
the
not as drastic.
worst.
Um, and it's interesting because like I'm thinking about the level up bonuses you get in something like Vampire Survivors or 20 Minutes Till Dawn, and you're gonna get a choice that usually has one that's a drastic wild thing, and two or maybe three that are mild adjustments or so. And yeah, you usually kind of beeline for the drastic build changer, right? Like, or even Binding
Yeah,
of
Vampire
Isaac,
Survivor's like,
you
hey,
know?
I got garlic. I'm going to re-roll until I get the Pumarella, whatever the heart, so I can get the big garlic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Every time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get it.
But yeah, no, that's how I feel. Like, you know what? There's a I'm sure people in I'm sure people in chat will and people at home will recognize this if they played Borderlands 2. Um Borderlands 2 has a gun, which is the result of a really long quest line about a cursed gun. It is a gun that everyone who picks up the gun either kills themselves or throws the gun away immediately. And you go here, and you finally get the gun, and you pick it up, and it's a submachine gun that has the most fucking insane stats you've ever seen on anything in the game. It's called Bane. Yeah, the Bane has a unique name. It's not like an auto-generated name. Um, it's like it fires like 10 times as fast. It does like slag, which is like the debuff stat. It's like, wow, what an incredible fucking gun. I'm gonna put this on. You equip it and your movement speed is 1% of normal, and every time you fire it, it's a submachine gun, every bullet goes like constantly at like an insanely loud volume, and it is like ear annihilating. It sounds so shit. It screams at you when you reload.
Did you just scream there? Or you
Oh
went
yeah, no, I
silent?
screamed. Sorry, I made a
Okay,
horrible. That'll come through at home. I don't know what Discord's deal is.
okay.
The,
It just didn't.
just constant
Okay.
awful. And yeah, I don't know what Discord is filtering my screams every time I yell.
The
Discord
noise gate,
filters it.
the noise gate, like dropped
Yeah, so
right the fuck on
I
top
thought
of
for a
that.
while it was my mixer. No, it's Discord specifically. Um, but it's horrible. It's a horrible freak gun sounds like shit and is a nightmare, but you can swap it in and out on your inventory. So you can equip a regular gun and then like quick switch to it and just do 1,000,000 damage. And that gun is therefore really memorable and really fun. I do not think Stranger of Paradise's system allows for that kind of nonsense.
Right, okay. Yeah, I remember when going through Vampire Survivors, and I finally started, when I got the gist of like how to win while learning how to play, and there's a point where you go, if I'm like 5 or 6 selections in, 5 levels or 6 levels in, and I haven't picked anything busted right away, fuck this run, right? You need to have a wild direction to start in, to start, you know, thinking about what else to do. Otherwise, it's just a passively, mildly strong, but nothing particularly aggressive.
Hey, I'm gonna try something. Can you hear this?
No, not at all.
What the hell, Discord? What is going on? Why are you doing this to me?
Interesting.
That's so weird.
Background yelling is just fucking... Yeah, no.
Is it the echo cancellation? Weird.
Well, I mean...
It is the echo cancellation.
Okay.
Ha!
I mean, that's not bad for the sounds of...
Oh, it's happening to you now. It's happening to you.
Oh, did that go away?
I didn't hear that either.
Okay. That is a button I have on, though. I can cancel that, right? So let me see here.
Yeah, gone. Oh, it's coming back. No, it doesn't want to do it.
I turned it off, and I turned it on, and I turned it off again. So now, yeah, it's off now.
Oh, well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, weird.
Oh, this is great listening for
I bet it's
you
super
love
good
this
listening.
in your headphones, everybody. All right.
It's super good.
Sound testing. Let's go. Dumb and Dumber noises.
All right.
Great. All right. Well, anyways, there you go.
Yeah, Stranger of Paradise is still a really good game. I feel bad that it came out 3 weeks after Elden Ring. That sucks.
Christ. Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that.
I forgot about that.
That buried that shit to death. Yeah, good game. Fun game. Excellent. Good. Fun. Good. Excellent. Really cheaply made, also. It's kind of sad about that, but oh well.
There's a lot of, I'm very curious to see how the story gets good in this context. That's the most interesting thing I've heard.
It's just so strange because it's wild ass dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone in the party, not just Jack, like everyone saw the memes of Jack being like, I don't care about your blah, blah, blah. Everyone in that party is a fucking moron. It is maybe the lowest IQ group in Final Fantasy ever. Like just absolute buffoons. And at some point, there's just like one cutscene where they're like, now it's time for feelings. And you're like, oh, I feel the feelings towards these buffoons. Weird. Very weird.
Okay. Yeah. Because I've heard some interesting things, no spoilers and stuff, but there is a bit of like, the more you are familiar with the basics of not just FF1, but also like Dissidia. Yeah, the whole series, and Dissidia asks Garland, raw, evil, like all of that matters, and you know the loops and yada yada. So